Alright, we're back again with a dadgummit Carter. The trailer's a little full, but
hopefully for the last time. Woo-wee. Tell you what, it doesn't feel as bad this June as what it normally does. But I mean, is there really much of a difference between 95 and 97 degrees? Tell you what, it's a lot of work keeping everything going during wheat harvest, getting Andy filled up so he can spray a load out.
Want me to do that?
So hook up to the header trailer and just pull it over there where Mom's already planted somewhere around the seed tender where I can load the header on it this evening. We're getting the planter serviced, filled up with seed, anything fixed on it needs to be, then getting the combine serviced, ready to go. Some days we gotta go get seed. It's a lot of work keeping everything moving. But hopefully this is the last day we're going to be this slam-packed busy. Hopefully the rest of the summer, we're still going to be busy, but we ain't going to have so many puzzle pieces moving at the same time.
well, it's hot. Walking back from the water truck, I just got done spraying a couple loads of soybean burn down, some paraquats and some good killer. I don't know why there's weight on the ground right there, but now we are back in the semi truck. We're about done with our wheat crop. On the last like 100 acres or so right now, and I don't know how many bushels are in the bin, but they're definitely all going in there. We've got around 30,000 pounds of seed wheat in bin 1, and right now I've got about 9,000 pounds in the truck, and that's going into the next bin, next empty bin, which is our bin 3. I'm about to get these bins switched over and show you a little more. First, we're gonna just let the loop run for a few seconds, get anything from last night out of there, but let's go shut these bins and open the rest of them. Somebody was trying to kill me. Righty tighty. Alright. Bin 2 should be shut. Nifty Lucy. Now we can go lefty loosey. I believe she's open. I know y'all probably don't care to watch this, but those floor gates there are open and that cord is kind of in the way. Shut now. Put my headphones on and continue with the next. Let's go see if all that's going into 3. Y'all can't see it at all, but it's raining down wheat, so. that's it. Back to the field.
Welcome to a beautiful Sunday in June, where it is a balmy 110 degrees in the wheat field. There is no breeze whatsoever. Last night I had a lot of trouble out of 13. I even took it off myself, fully loaded. Right now, not so much because I've planted a whole bunch, but Matt has tracked it down to a wire. And so he kind of tweaked it a little bit, and even though it's still sending warning alarms, I have to just stop every now and then, lift up the planter, turn off the fan, let it reset itself, and then we keep going. Now we just need to get this done so we can all just put June behind us, because it's already like the 22nd. And before you know it, we'll blink, it's July, and we have all this stuff to do. So I think everybody's brains are fried today. Like, I'm so tired. I think I slept like 4 hours last night. So unfortunately I am overheating again, even though Matt blew out the radiator this morning. And yeah, so we're just gonna take a break. I'm probably gonna end up working later today into the night. The tractor runs a whole lot better. Also, I am leaving Tuesday for Chicago for NCGA conference for women and mentors. And this year I am a mentor. So it's 2 days and it's in my hometown. Kind of excited. I have a few friends that still live downtown, so I'm hoping to meet them up on Thursday. I don't get home till Friday. So I want to plant as late as I can tonight, and then hopefully get all of this done around here so Matt can just go out to Madison County and get those fields that I absolutely hate. So that's kind of a blessing for me, honestly. Get me out of this wheat field. Take my last shot tomorrow, so that's good. It really makes you feel run down, but it's working.
Well, with the I think 61 acres that we started out with, I was hoping to be done by around 5:30 on this Sunday afternoon. However, I don't think it's gonna happen. It's been slower going than what I was wanting. You see all this greenery out here, and it was even worse over here. I mean, we got tons of Johnson grass and stuff that's coming up through that wheat, and with all the moisture that we got in the soil, plus, I mean, we got some hot temperatures now. I mean, these weeds, that grass, I mean, it's growing inches per day. And we got even more green material today than what we did yesterday, and old combine don't like it too much. Don't like it at all. And I get to like green patches like there. Listen, it's probably gonna pull the combine down pretty good. Not to mention shooting my losses up and everything, so we're having to try to creep through as much as possible. But I think this field right here, I think this is going to be the last of my weedy wheat. I think the rest of them are down in bottoms. It's definitely a lot thicker, and don't have near the grass problems there. And hopefully I can mow through that wheat just a little bit quicker. I'll tell you, my experience with wheat this year, it's convinced me we need to do something different on our winter crop program. We're still going to save a little bit of seed, especially that 25R40, because I don't want to get rid of it. Because once I don't save any seed, I mean, that variety's over and done because I can't get any more. We're going to save a little bit of seed for that. I think about 150 acres worth. This 26R59, just for mitigate costs, we're saving like 50 acres of it. And that's going to give us enough wheat for about 200 acres, about half of my wheat acres for next year. And all the rest of it's going to be certified wheat. We're going to see if yields go up by getting newer varieties, you know, certified wheat and whatnot. We're going to perform that. We're going to perform that experiment. But also, if y'all been following Dylan Joy's farms, y'all knew that he grew some canola this year. I've already reached out to Bungie about raising some canola for next year, because Dylan seemed to like it real good, had real good success with it, and with the price that they're offering, I think it's $11.25 a bushel, you know, over twice what wheat's bringing right now. The income definitely looks better on canola than it does wheat. It costs about the same per acre to raise canola as it does wheat, maybe just a little bit more expensive, but you know, over double the price. Now the yield's not going to be what we get with wheat, you know, and that's the thing that's really kind of got me concerned in not going whole hog, is that, you know, I've never grown canola. Not many people have grown canola here in West Tennessee at all, and it's still kind of an unknown. We know what the experts tell us. You know, they say you should be able to count on 40 bushels an acre. If you're a good farmer, you know, 50 bushels an acre should be readily achievable, and maybe even a little higher. So you're not going to have the, you know, the same bushels per acre, but with over twice the price, you know, the income potential for canola looks better. But until, you know, we actually grow it, it's really hard to put a pencil to paper and figure out what the best thing is, because we still just don't know what we can count on canola from. You know, what years is it not going to do good? You know, is it going to react to winter conditions about the same as wheat? You know, a lot of that stuff we just don't know. How's it going to work under my agronomic practices? I just don't know. And I was wanting to consider growing some for this last winter, but the big problem with canola in my eyes is that it has to be planted in September. Well, the only crop we can plant it behind in September would be corn, because that's the only crop that we've got harvested. And well, typically the vast majority of my corn acres goes into cotton the next year, and I've been under EQIP contracts with NRCS to plant cover crops on there, so behind my corn, so you know, I didn't have an opportunity to plant any canola. However, this year I don't have any EQIP contracts for cover crops going on in Crockett County, so I mean, I can do whatever I want to. So my plan is right now is I'm gonna put about 60 acres in canola for next year here in Crockett County. I got 2 farms right there close to the house that are in corn, and I think they would be a good fit for canola. Plus they'll be right there close to the shop, be able to keep my eye on it and study it and learn about it and everything. And it was looking like, just due to our rotation, our wheat acres were going to be down next year. We were only going to have about 400 acres of wheat, and I like to have about, you know, 450 to 500 acres of winter cash crops planted. And so we plant our 400 acres of wheat as planted, and then we put another 50-60 acres in canola. We're going to do a lot of studying next winter with the changes we're making with our winter program, and then if I get accepted into the Bungie program, we'll have that canola to look at also. And the reason I got to be accepted into the program is because Bungie started this program either last year or the year before to get farmers to raise canola in West Tennessee to be crushed for the oil content that's strictly going to go to sustainable aviation fuels, or SAF. And the grain marketing for canola is going to be a little bit different than wheat, because we're not going to contract you know, the total number of bushels to sell at a granary like we do with corn, soybeans, or wheat. What we're doing with this program is we're contracting acres, and whatever we produce on that acre, you know, Bungie will take all of it at that $11.25 price. Now the good thing about it is that we're not going to have to haul it any farther than what we do our wheat, because it's going to be going to the same facility that we sell our wheat at. So we're not going to be looking at any difficulties in hauling or anything like that. But anyway, from what I understand, Bungie has made huge investments in plants to take in canola, crush it, and then produce the sustainable aviation fuel, which is going to be the, you know, it's the next big step in you know, us producing renewable fuels. You know, we're producing corn and soybeans for ethanol and biodiesel. Well, the next big fuel source is going to be aviation fuel, and canola could be a big part of the solution on that. But in order to be accepted into that program, you have to show that you're producing canola in sustainable methods, which, I mean, you know what we're doing with regenerative ag, there's no question there, but also you have to show that you haven't like deforested any land that's going to be used to produce the canola and all that kind of stuff. So I submitted my field boundaries, and they're doing the research to make sure I qualify, and then if everything goes according to plan, I'm gonna have to get some canola placed for my planter. Well, it took us almost all harvest, but we finally got some dang good wheat here. And not as good as it could have been, because that test weight was high before all that rain. I ain't no telling what it would have done. Uh-oh, I was talking, we got a little bit of cab wheat. Anyway, that's just another thing about this year that I just don't understand. We've seen our best yields on our deeper dirt, you know, our bottom ground and stuff. And usually that's not what happens on wheat. And you're probably thinking, of course it makes sense, dummy. I mean, your best ground ought to make the best wheat. Not necessarily in our climate. Generally, we see higher yields on the hill ground just because it's a lot better drained. You know, we have wet winters. The soil doesn't stay saturated as much as it does down in the bottoms. And this winter was a normal winter, and that's why I don't understand why we're seeing, I mean, some really good wheat on our bottom ground, because that's kind of counter of what it usually does. So I don't know. I mean, we try to unlock a bunch of mysteries of agriculture here on this channel. Sometimes we have luck, but there's just too many times in the past few years, well, heck, even my career, we see things that are just unexplainable with the knowledge that we currently have. Sometimes we're able to figure things out, and then other times there's just we might figure them out another year, but it ain't gonna be this year.
All right, we're back again with a dadgummit Carter. The trailer's a little full, but we're back with another full load, not 9,000 pounds and not seed wheat. So let's go switch these bins back over and start dumping. Same thing, just in reverse. So we went right and shut it, so lefty loosey. I'm switching back, I'm opening green. All right, I'm opening bin 2 and closing bin 3, and we're dumping the rest of the wheat into bin 2.
This field right here is the one we've been looking for. Last farm of wheat for 2025. We got 18.3 acres here, and we'll have our crop wrapped up. The official time is 5:02. I want to be done by 6:25. Well, first I got to change the form of my yield monitor here. All right, now I got that done. Let's say 6:26 now.
So I stopped to let her out to go to the bathroom, but also because I saw something pretty wet in the back of the planter. And turns out I got a colossal problem. Man, on a Sunday. I don't know if it's just a fitting or if it's the entire control box. So I'm gonna head over to get the service truck and start figuring something out on a Sunday. So I sent the pictures to Matt, and I guess it's an O-ring that he's had problems with. So Andy went back to the shop for the O-ring kit. I'm out here, no shade, nothing. It's 110 degrees, so I am taking it up to where the boys are loading so we can have some shade. We've been out of the cab for 30 minutes and it is unbearable. Andy and I are gonna change that, and then I'll have to walk back down here to get the seat tender at some point, and then the service truck too. So just burning the calories today, burning the calories.
Well, Kelly's falling a little bit behind today. She's got a hydraulic leak on the planter. I think it's an O-ring we kept on having problems with last year, just replacing with, you know, O-rings out of a, you know, a generic kit, and they last a few days and have to replace them. Well, I got the proper specs on that O-ring from Precision Planting this winter, replaced it, and here we are right here at the tail end of planting. I think it's blown again. I don't know if it's the heat or what that's ruining those O-rings. We never have had any problems with it until last year. But I tell you what, you know, when it's 95, 96 degrees out there like it is, then you got the heat of the tractor hydraulics, which that tractor's pushing maximum hydraulic flow to run everything on the planter. Maybe I need to try and find a better heat resistant O-ring. Good gosh, look at the morning glories that just, they've dragged that wheat down on the ground and it's a solid carpet. I hope we never have another wheat crop like this.
Come on, Andy, we need to hurry up because the captain is coming, and then he'll come over here going, "What did you guys do? Did you fix it?" Yeah. For the second time, yes. Oh, hey, look, there are some things that are out of my physical capability, but this is not one of them. Oh, it's one of these jokers. Yeah, that's right.
All right, well, there's a different voice and a different face coming out of this camera, but you can see we have a bunch of tools. The planter is off, and the tractor's sitting still, truck's sitting still, so, but if you listen very closely, the combine is still going. Anywho, Matt gets on the radio and says there's a big old plug, which is this one right here. I mean, it's pretty dead-gum big. I got a 2.5, a 2, and a 2 16ths, and none of them are those sizes. It's like a 2 1/4. So we get we get it to where you can pull the plug out, and taking 2 hoses off so you can get access to it. And I pull the plug out, and I'm just sitting there like, well, the O-ring, which is this one, it is, I mean, it's perfectly fine. It's a little hard, but I mean, it's perfectly fine. We went ahead and changed it, put a new one on there, and while I was screwing the plug back in, it was this little bitty Allen wrench plug right here on top, which I came prepared and brought all my adjustable tools for the sizes, because I didn't know the sizes. I didn't bring any Allen wrenches though, so I used the trusty adjustable tool, adjustable wrench. Was able to break it loose and get it out, pulled it out, and I dropped the O-ring, or I'd show you, but it was completely busted, and that was definitely what was leaking. I don't think it was the big plug. I don't know how much it was losing. I never saw it leak or anything, but changed the O-ring out and should be good to go. Kelly she's actually walking down the road. She's bringing the service truck up here, and everything's ready to go. So I think they're on their last like 20 acres right now in the back, and it's still daylight, so maybe I'll catch y'all on the bright side.
I'll tell you what, with the exception of a few spots like right near, we're finishing up on a pretty dang good farm now. The outside inrow was probably the worst out of all my farms. I mean, it would just eat up with morning glories, Johnson grass, and everything else. Got away from that first pass all the way around the edge, and yields are consistently staying in the 80s. If it hadn't had untold inches of rain on it, it's been some dang good wheat. I know how I said earlier in the video yesterday that I think ripping, you know, the roughness of the ground caused a lot of our stand loss. And I mean, I do think it contributed a little bit to it, but on these other 2 farms that I didn't rip, I mean, I kind of saw some of the same issues, just not near as extreme as it was over there. And I think what happened, you know, this was planted in, you know, November. I think right there, starting around the 2nd week of November, you know, winter's almost here, starting to get wet, and I think we got a good rain on it at the wrong time that kind of hurt my stand in places. And, you know, that was my whole goal last year, was to get my wheat planted early, you know, get my cotton planted early. Ooh, that was a slug of grass. You know, get my cotton planted earlier, get it matured, get it picked early, so I could get my wheat planted early. And well, we succeeded with about half of our crop, and everything from that plan, you know, proved accurate and actually happened, except for the higher yields. Now, we did see a little bit better yields, but it wasn't noticeably better over my later planted wheat. And you know, I had the same goals this year: get my cotton planted early, get it matured early, then hopefully get my wheat planted early. But I don't see that happening this year. I mean, even the cotton that we didn't have to replant, I mean, it wasn't planted early. It was planted within the normal planting window, but it wasn't planted early. And then we had all this terrible weather in May and over the first half of June. And even my cotton I didn't have to replant, it's behind. It's not at the stage that it should be at this time of year. Unless we just have a super hot, super dry rest of the summer, we're going to be up against that probably close to first frost, getting it defoliated and stuff. Just don't really see us getting our wheat planted any earlier. I know some of y'all probably say, well, why don't you just plant your wheat behind your corn? I mean, that's what most everybody else does, and you know, a lot of people do it. However, you're automatically taking a yield hit right there, because you got all that organic matter from the corn, all that residue has got to be broke down. It's going to be tying up your nitrogen. You got inconsistent spots of nitrogen in the field, maybe where the corn didn't take all that nitrogen up, and you're going to have excess growth. You can have lodging issues. But the main thing is that you're following a grass crop with another grass crop, and if you want top end yield, that's a pretty big no-no right there. I've planted some wheat behind corn before, and it was definitely, there's about a 3, 4, 5 bushel per acre reduction over where I had it planted behind soybeans and cotton. Now, my best wheat yields that I'll ever get, and we saw it this year, is where I had some wheat behind full season beans, because you got that extra consistent nitrogen there. It helps you grow and tiller out and everything else. Thing is, we don't hardly have any full season beans, just because it's typically the lowest profit potential out of all the crops we grow. And where we do have full season beans, it's typically in our wetter ground where we can't plant wheat. But the big reason I like planting wheat behind cotton is, well, we can make really good yields. You don't have a whole lot of crop residue that you got to battle everything else. You can get great seed to soil contact. But where we've seen the biggest benefit is in the double crop soybeans behind the cotton. The double crop soybeans behind cotton will out yield double crop soybeans that's planted behind soybeans, just because of that crop rotation. I've seen it time and time again. We make great wheat behind soybeans, but our double crop soybeans, I mean, they can be good, but it's, you know, definitely nothing spectacular. But where we can really grow some spectacular double crop soybeans is behind cotton. But if I'm going to continue growing wheat, I've got to get this wheat thing figured out. I think we got a good plan for next year on trying to isolate, you know, some variables that might be causing, you know, this 3-year decline in wheat yields that we've seen. But whether we've actually, you know, identified what's causing it or not, I don't know. That just remains to be seen. We'll know a lot more next year.
We're almost done with wheat. We have probably about 10 acres left, and hopefully we get done before it gets a little wet. It's about, let me see, it is 6 o'clock right now, so we got about an hour and a half before it starts getting damp and wet outside. But I'm ready to go home, and everybody's tired. Got a little trail going on through here. Gonna do a little hill climb real quick. And he is ready. Unload on the never mind. It's that easy. It's hard to drive with the GoPro in your hand, I'll tell you that. But no, people think.
Andy?
Oh, come on now, don't be interrupting me. People say driving a tractor's hard, but it's really driving a car. He's outside helping Mom right now. It's pretty easy. Steering wheel, buttons. So, big thing about me is I'm a big deer hunter, and one thing I love seeing whenever we're cutting wheat is you'll see all the little deer running out and whatnot, and it's just cool seeing, like, oh, that could be a big buck one year, or that could be, I don't know, it's really cool to see. And also when we catch them, to put them in the woods, sometimes you can feel little nubs on their heads or whatnot, or you can just, it's just funny to kind of see that, because then whenever they get all big, I mean, they're going to have to watch out for me, I'll tell you that. And in this field right here, I used to have a deer stand in that corner. There's like a little dip down right there, and the reason why I don't hunt it no more is because when you park, you have to park back here, and you have to walk all the way down, cut across to that tree. And let me tell you something. Now, if I'm right there and I'm looking and I see a gobbler strutting over on that corner, best believe my happy butt will get down and army crawl through this field. But this farm's real nice. I mean, you got a road going on that side, but it's nice for turkey hunting, because every year in this little valley, they'll just be strutting in and out. We have this little piece and that little piece, and we're done. So hopefully we'll be done here in the next 45 minutes. And also, one thing, somebody correct me if I'm wrong on this, but I've gotten wind or word that in 2026 our governor will be signing a bill that allows hunters on resident, I don't know, I'm guessing on your own land, if it's your own land, you can buy a $50 permit and bait deer in season. Now, I'm not saying I'm gonna do that, but I just think that's real funny how all these years you're not allowed to bait deer, and then now you can buy, well, it's starting 2026, you can buy a $50 permit and bait deer and whatnot. I just don't really understand that, but I don't know, that may be false information. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but I got word that apparently in 2026, you can buy a $50 permit. I'm guessing on the TWRA app or whatnot, you can just go buy a little permit or something. You can just go bait deer. So I'm not saying I'm gonna do that, but if it's legal, you best believe you're gonna see all the private landowners having a big old pile of corn out there or something out there during season, and the game warden's they can't do anything about it. $50 permit.
Well, I was off on my time estimate just a little bit. It is 6:41, so I'm 14 minutes overdue. I did anticipate the weed pressure around the edge to slow me down a little bit. But this is all we got up here. Just a couple more passes. And the wheat crop I'd like to forget is done. But looking here at my yield monitor, total yield across right at 500 acres, showing 74 bushels an acre, which about like what it was last year. I can't remember exactly what we yielded last year. I thought it was somewhere right there in the mid 70s, but definitely not what I hoped it'd been. If we hadn't gotten all this rain on this wheat, I think it would have been a little bit better than last year, but I don't know. I have my doubts of wheat averaged 80 bushels. It definitely wouldn't have been in the mid 80s like I was hoping. But that's the game we play. We just happened to lose out this year. Not the worst crop that I've ever made by a long shot. The worst wheat crop I've ever made was in 2007. I think we averaged 37 bushels an acre, but that wheat crop was severely damaged by an Easter freeze. So that's a crop I definitely don't want to ever have to repeat again. But all our wheat is in the bin, and the big question is going to be when we start hauling it off here in a few weeks is, will the granary take it? And if they do take it, just how bad are we going to get hammered on the price? Because half my wheat crop, we're already looking at a low price with no discounts. You throw some discounts on there, we're going to be in the red in a hurry. Anyway, hope all y'all enjoyed our wheat harvest videos this year. Don't know what's next. I think my goal for this summer is not going to be necessarily showing, you know, what we're doing day in, day out, kind of like what I've done in past years. I kind of feel like that's gotten old. I'm going to try and focus a little bit more on the agronomy side, how our crops are growing, what we expect, what we're seeing, and all that kind of stuff. I think that's going to be kind of how I gear our summer videos until you know, we get ready for fall harvest. But anyway, not going to get to go home early today. My plan is that I'm going to get this thing back to the shop, get started blowing on it, get it ready for the wash pad, and then probably go relieve Kelly on the planter and try to get caught up planting some double crop beans. They need to go in the ground just as soon as they possibly can. She's got to get caught up on everything we cut today. She's probably about 50 acres behind me. Then we still got the Baker Farm and Todd Farm totaling about 76 acres over there that I'm going to get done tomorrow. And get Carter and Andy to finish up all the spraying behind her double crop beans, and then put the sprayer through an extensive clean out because it's got Valor in it, and if we don't get all that Valor cleaned out of the system, it will absolutely torch the cotton. And then after that, get to cleaning our crops up and hopefully just about be done with our weed control for the year. Also, I always forget to mention, you want to support us and our channel, you want some of you know, our merchandise, hats, shirt, coffee mugs, tumblers, stickers, license plates, whatever, y'all be sure to go to www.farmmerchbin.com and get you some high quality gear over there. Not only will you be helping support us, you'll also be supporting another small local family who actually makes all the merchandise, takes the orders, and ships it out. So if you like some of our gear, be sure to hit up the website and get you some on the way.
Alright, we just got done cutting the last field, which is the last field of the wheat crop. Last field of the day. I'm dumping the last truckload of wheat. And if you're just super curious, I've been kind of keeping up with the bushels. We've got about 700 bushels put back for seed wheat, and about 33,878, rough guess. I'm gonna double check here in a minute, but that's what my quick math led us up to, 33,878 plus 700. So we're right there on that 3,400 bushels. I think they're expecting a little bit more. It's a little bit less than last year. I don't know what the problem was. We had a good looking stand, but I believe it was just a little thin. So, but yeah, in case you're curious, those are our numbers. Anyway, I'm gonna finish dumping this truck. It's time to go to the house.
Well, so far so good. No more leaks. And in about 10 minutes, I'm gonna get kicked out of the tractor, and I guess Matt is going to take over. But I got a pretty sunset tonight, that's for sure.